Live.
We are live.
All right. Okay. There we go. Marie Janique. Welcome. 2 viewers. All right. The G-Man. Welcome. MH. Welcome. 4 viewers. All right. So it's slowly trickling in. Yeah, this space, maybe 1 hour, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less than that rather. But Sir Otter, what are the Goyim up to in the United Kingdom? What are they up to?
Oh, well, it seems like they're trying to make a George Floyd out of this situation.
Could you explain to us in simple English why that is fucking retarded?
I mean, first of all, what parallels can you truly make here? And the only parallel you can really truly make is that the government response is hypocritical.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, yeah.
Mhm,
Aside from that, completely different situations.
mhm,
One one guy was overdosing on fentanyl, and one guy was dead pretty much at the scene,
mhm,
uh, no matter how fast the cops got there. I guess now they're doing another inquiry to see if the handcuffing killed him, but I really doubt a blade in that location that you could
mhm.
survive.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Because if the artery was already damaged and it got torn worse, it doesn't matter. I mean, that artery is behind the collarbone. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do, extensive
Mhm,
surgery to even repair it, and while someone has internal bleeding, their lungs are filling up, it just
mhm,
doesn't seem feasible. I'm not a doctor. Maybe something will come out, but I'm gonna stand on that conviction as I have been, and my convictions are rarely wrong. Um, Aside from that, I mean, George Floyd had a whole army of people grifting behind that situation. You had the whole activist circuit. The BLM thing was well funded by elite groups. The right doesn't have anything equivalent. They're trying to meme this into existence. If you
mhm,
don't have a
mhm, mhm,
well organized infrastructure of protesters ready to go, ready to have their signs printed and handed out to them,
mhm,
have it all coordinated on Facebook like it was with BLM, Instagram and
mhm,
Facebook, getting people out there. It's not gonna happen. You know, the small little riot of like 30 people in Southampton, and they think it's a win? I mean, come on.
Oh dear. But good sir, if they take a knee and if they just like copy all the dead forms, all the magic will happen. Is that not the case?
Oh, man, don't get me started on this because this is where I really get irked. Really, really, it's so
Yeah.
irritating because they
We are doing
spent
sociology, bro. We are doing sociology. So let's do some sociology. Let's do it. All right.
let me do a little bit of just leaning into how stupid this is. They spent 2, 3, 4 years turning "I can't breathe" into a punchline. I
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
don't know if you spend much time looking at Instagram memes, but I have friends who send them to me all the time.
Mm,
You have the George Droid memes. You had all kinds of George Floyd memes on normie Instagram with tens of thousands of likes, just making fun of the "I can't breathe" thing. People found it hilarious. They actually had a win with that, to be quite
mhm,
honest. They memed that into a big fucking joke.
mhm. Exactly, bro.
And now they're trying to turn it back into what it was before they turned it into a joke. Now they're
Oh yeah,
trying
bro.
to and this is where I lose my mind. It's if you're creating propaganda, you gotta stick with your message. You can't suddenly just turn 180 without any kind of easing into that, without any kind of planning, strategic planning, PR maneuvering. They're just throwing whatever memes at the wall that they can, hoping it can stick. And there was one moron on my Substack who argued with me endlessly, Norman Eckhart or something. I hope I'm getting that right, not throwing someone else under the bus, but I kept explaining this over and over to the guy, like, "You have to understand the principles of propaganda. He was like, memes are just things that come from the nether. They come from
Yeah.
the depths of 4chan. And I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? Anyone's been on 4chan knows it's full of feds, it's full of propagandists,
It's full of Israelis, bro.
it's
Bro,
full
bro.
of Israelis. They're the top
Like
traffic, actually.
it's Israel, yeah. It's fucking Israel, yeah.
So, are you fucking kidding me? Memes are organic? No, some of them might be, but
Yeah.
it's full of feds. There's no way the government is gonna watch meme culture from afar and be like, "Oh, this is interesting. Oh, let's do a sociological study on this." No, they're gonna get in there. They're gonna make memes and
They
social
want the
engineer
action, bro.
people.
Yeah, bro, they want the action. They want the action. They want their cut. They want 10% for the big guy. Exactly. And the thing is, right? And the thing is, right? Like, as you were saying, oh, let's spend the last 10 years. Like, basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, quote unquote, get back the magic of 2015, 2016. And every fucking year, they try to, like, it's a dead form and they repeat the dead forms over and over again. Right? So, i- it's like, okay, you think this shit is organic. Haha, sure thing, bro. Once upon a time I was 12 years old as well, right? But I'm not 12 years old now, right? But like, it is so fucking, and look, you and I, we're both adults. We know what's going on here, right? Like, they don't care about that poor kid that got murdered by that criminal. They don't give a fuck about him. Like, do they actually give a
Oh,
fuck
if
about
they
him?
cared about him, they wouldn't be comparing him to someone of the likes of George Floyd to begin with, and that's why I posted
Exactly.
that little
Yeah.
note where I said, "If someone never did that to me, I would haunt their cursed fucking souls for the rest of their lives."
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Exactly. Like this shit, right? Obviously, you've got the online ghettos. Like these are a bunch of online fucking ghettos with like solipsist and like whatever racist and the usual shit, right? They don't give a fuck about him, right? But even the fucking like the dude who shows up with the brown whatever suit that's even buttoned incorrectly, and then he like throws trash
Oh,
bins at the
with
police. Oh,
a fucking
bro.
tie pin with a waistcoat. Oh my god.
Let me ask you, like seriously, when these guys say Islam and Eurabia, and I'm like, bro, every day you go out there, you make Eurabia palatable. You make Eurabia palatable by your behavior. every time, every time you do this shit, like they were throwing like garbage bins at the fucking police. I looked at that and I'm like, dude, you're just making Eurabia more and more like, hey, you know that Eurabia thing I was scared of 20 years ago. Let me not get the fucking autists and the fucking spurgs, breaking glass at the convenience store or whatever the fuck. And it's like, oh my gosh, man. So,
Yeah, yeah,
that's why,
they're behaving like, who was oh, it's slipping my mind, Michael, y the hands up, don't shoot guy, I can't remember his fucking name at the moment, but,
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah, he goes and robs a fucking cigarette shop, and
yeah,
they're behaving just like the people they've been criticizing. They're always complaining about the black community, and now they're behaving just the same. Yeah, it's
yeah, bro.
sickening, it's sickening. Like, I don't wanna call myself a white man if that's what a white man is now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I've got
what's
pride and dignity in, what my civilization used to represent, and it's not this kind of trash.
yeah, it's not, yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not something. Oh, what is the G-man say? Tommy Robinson was pretending that the British guy was killed by Bro, he's still trying to do now his argument is, oh, it's only one bad Sikh guy that did it. Don't tar and feather the entire Sikh community. And then he's getting glazed under the comment section with all these fuckers saying, okay, but for the last 20 years, Tommy, your brand has been saying that Islam is like a genocidal death cult. And actually, when one Muslim does, do that, you can say all of Islam is doing that, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's just they're
Yeah,
fucking going,
that's
man.
another
They're
problem,
fucking going.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The extremist radical Muslims are, in fact, a minority,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
But it's a double standard, and it's not just like a clever type of double standard. It's just like Tommy Robinson does this shit for 20 years, and then the next day is just like, okay, well, yeah, but and then all his fellow white Christian, whatever the fuck, ethno nationalist bros, they're just like, okay, you're a fucking traitor because we gotta deport all of them. And then I just laugh. And if you notice what I've been doing on Twitter, like I just go to these stupid comments and I just reply with like a GIF of like a small white puppy barking, right? Or I like restack them, or like I requote them on Twitter with like a small puppy barking, and that's what this entire fucking thing is, man. Whether it's John Carter of Mars or all this other shit, they're like, oh, we're gonna fucking get you, we're gonna deport you, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You are an online ghetto. You are white trash, right? And every time you say like Palestine is inferior or whatever the fuck, well, Palestinians actually fight for what they believe in,
That's true,
right?
yeah.
Do you fight for what you believe in? Well, if by fighting you mean spamming shit online, sure. But like you don't have a firearm with you. You're not like facing down the tank or the enemy artillery or the jets or whatever the fuck. The Palestinian is a superior breed compared to you, man. And by the way, like our part of the world, we don't even use this language like superior, inferior, right? But under your own standards, if you're going to be using that language, like superior versus inferior, then okay, man, one guy fights on the battlefield, the other guy fights from his mom's basement eating the Cheetos. So there you go.
Yeah.
I rest my case, my friend. So there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, John Carter, speaking of him, posted something the other day, like, "All you have to do is keep LARPing and it becomes real." Like, no. No. No, you gotta go and
Oh
organize,
dear.
create organizations, institutions, etcetera, get funding.
Hmm.
Fundraising is the hardest part of politics. Whenever you have a
Oh yeah,
new
bro.
political party, I mean, that's brutal work. I tried to help, this EU party forward Europe with it, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it is no easy task, man, to get money in the bank, and they don't
Exactly,
wanna put in
exactly.
that effort. It's a
Yeah,
nightmare. I don't blame them to some degree, but if they're gonna be so convicted on this,
yeah, yeah.
which I'm not. I'm a pragmatist. I want
Exactly.
pragmatic, practical solutions. But if they really truly believe in this stuff, they gotta put in the work.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. And the thing is, right? Like, if you don't put in the work, it's not gonna happen. Political parties, coalition building, all this other shit, right? You need to like actually know what it is you're pursuing, right? Like, okay, here's our economic policy, here's our taxation policy. All this shit doesn't just show up from like thin air, right? And so and I apologize for being fucking rude, but I have to do this, right? But this entire society is incapable of that. I'm sorry, but like if I go to third world Bangladesh, where I was born, right? And it's a third world poor country. It is what it is, right? I'm just speaking this through. But
Yeah,
if I go to third world Bangladesh, yeah, but like the point I'm making, if I go to third world Bangladesh, let's say there's a slush fund of $17 billion, right? What's a Bengali politician going to do with that money? He's going to buy himself a giant house. His son and his daughter and whatever the fuck, they're going to get a bunch of like Rolls Royces and like Lamborghinis or whatever. And then he'll launder the money. He'll steal the money. He'll loot the money. He'll launder it around. He'll buy a bunch of his friends and
yeah,
politicians and do some
construction
favors.
contracts,
Yeah,
classic.
exactly. All the classic shit. But the thing is, he's gonna put the money to some kind of use. Like, okay, compare that to what America does in the year 2026. Donald John Trump tries to do money laundering via this like Doge thing, and then he tries to do the money laundering via Board of Peace, which like we all know what's going on here. Board of Peace is like a
Oh, man, what a
plagiarism of the
scam.
United Nations. Yeah. And so he goes there, he starts off with $17 billion, and now he's got $0 in there. Right. So he like
Wait, they
America
already
can
spent the Board of Peace money?
bro. He not only spent it like Bloomberg and all these other guys, they're just like, yeah, they're out of money. Like he
Jeez.
can't like America in the year 2026 is a fourth world shithole. You cannot compare it to the third world. Like in the
There's the
third
news
world,
the other day that the people
yeah,
who funded the ballroom, got $50 billion in government contracts.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
insanely transparent. It is
yeah,
third world shit, as you say.
yeah,
It's the
yeah. But like
Orban playbook, but it's way worse. Orban didn't even steal this much.
bro, they can't even launder the money, man. Don't compare them to us, man. America's a fourth world shithole. It's not third world. This is fourth world, right? But like, that's like, why am I bringing this up? The reason I'm bringing this up is because it's not just Trump who can't launder the money and who can't even steal money properly like the third world can. It's also like the basic, like, quote unquote citizens, right? They're just like, man, if we just deport 1 million people, everything will be fine. Like, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Bernie Bros. Like the Bernie Bros, they're just like, if we just grab the billionaires and we tax them 90%, all of society's problems will be solved, right?
Yeah.
Like this is literally all this is. It's like you got a bunch of people who don't know how to run society. They're running their mouths off and they're talking about philosophy and vitalism and I don't know 50 other things, and you're like, shut the fuck up, man. All right, you don't even know how the fucking sewage system works. You don't know how the airport works. You don't know what the supply lines are like. You don't even know where the natural gas and the oil and the fucking bananas come from. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Well,
Like,
defensive
like,
vitalists are usually about personal development, which is
yeah, all that shit,
probably
all the like shit that has no quantifiable numbers and shit, so that you can write essays about it, and so that you don't have any like accountability for when your hypothesis goes wrong, right? Like that's what this is, man. Uh,
when it comes to the
yeah,
political
exactly.
thinkers, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the problem is that society has become incredibly complex. The system is incredibly complex. It's very top
Hmm.
heavy as well.
Yeah,
And there
exactly.
is no plug and play solution like tax this group and it all solved or deport
Yeah,
none of that. No.
yeah,
And the educational standards have been diminishing for
yeah, exactly.
decades.
Yeah,
Decades. The public is not even close to being prepared
no.
to be able to even comprehend these things, to
Hmm.
be able
Hmm.
to sift through the complexity at all. They just want A plus B equals C.
Yeah, yeah, that's literally all this is. It's just like, oh, the Sikhs did it. Oh my gosh, the Sikhs are evil. If we just, Europa will rise. Britannia will rule the waves again if we just deport all the Sikh people. That's all it is, man. Like if you're dealing with a bunch of farm animals like this, right? Like Iran is just gonna like okay. We are right now. What are we living through? We are living through the largest energy crisis in human history. Largest. We are looking at the first big challenge to like a Western sea power in like 600 years. We are dealing with like the end of the American Empire. We are dealing with the end of the post World War II consensus. All of these events are converging. And what are the fucking farm animals worked up on? They're worked up on, all right, let's turn this like Henry kid into like a George Floyd thing, man. I mean, what do you say at this point, right? What do you say at this point? Aren't they just fucking useless?
It's exasperating because there's a lot of events going on right now that are really important and nobody's been talking about them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's all
Let me just see.
swept under the rug with this distraction propaganda.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Let me just see what the comments are saying. Tommy Robbins, I already read that. Okay, Civilization is only McDonald's, Thai Masters, and Cape Shit movies. Yeah, exactly, Team Kirkwood. All right. And then Nova Scotia Tony Goodsir says culture has run out of ideas and there is no technology available for Westerners to exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's exasperating, as Sir Otter was saying, right? But yeah, but Sir Otter, what do you make of this like fucking UK thing? You think it's just gonna be like it'll fizzle out in like 2 weeks, or what's your
Yes,
prognosis on
absolutely.
this? Yeah. Yeah.
There's a
You think it's
same
like a big
prediction I
nothing burger?
made with Joan of Park, and I will be vindicated again because
Mhm,
the public has a short attention span, and the way they presented their propaganda is not a lasting message. It's contradictory. It's unpalpable to people. You know that the average non low class rightoid doesn't want to be associated with this kind of a movement.
mhm,
Generally, people who are conservative are a little bit more image focused, and
mhm,
this like bottom feeding portion of the right is very loud and ruining
mhm,
what was built that was actually kind of going in some practical direction for a short time. And that's
mhm,
all gone. That's all long gone now.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's completely gone, and thank you for that. And the thing is, right, like it's not just the image problem thing. It's just that they're just trash, man. I mean, look, maybe I'm being racist. All right, then I'm racist. Like whether it's white trash or brown trash or whatever, it's just a bunch of trash. Like it's a ghetto with like mental masturbations and solipsistic fantasies, and like John Carter is like an excellent example of the slop that they feed the goyim, right? But it's like he's talking about irrelevant shit like, oh, Argentina or whatever the fuck, and going after Chinese vessels in Argentina. I'm like,
I
bitch, shut
saw
the
that.
fuck up,
What? I
bro,
think like
bro.
the Chinese are like not
Yeah, yeah,
the issue at all.
yeah.
Like the Chinese and American economies are deeply interconnected now, so that's
Yeah, yeah,
why
yeah, yeah,
they have to do little
yeah,
shadow battles with each other.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, but it's just fucking funny, man. You see this crap and you just go, all right, I mean, I think Carter actually, like you said you met him in person.
No, no, no. That's a friend of mine did.
Okay, and like a friend of yours, he basically told you that he's basically an autist, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
gossip too hard, but yeah,
fair enough, fair enough.
he just wasn't really trying to socialize with people
Gotcha,
at the
gotcha.
bar, and he felt uncomfortable, and I don't know.
So basically, okay. So let's not pick on him. Let's make a general argument. Let's make a general argument because we don't want to pick on individual people. But like, basically, it's just like
It's hard not
autism,
to
and
though, because I mean, these guys
yeah,
are
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
exact
yes,
examples of what's wrong with the right.
yeah.
That's why I take on my notes. I should stop doing it, but it's just every time I see something, it's just so stupid, like unbelievably dense and stupid, but it's on
Mhm.
purpose. It,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, with the amount of subscribers he has, they've roped him into the propaganda machine. Like Will Martin says, he's in the group chats.
Oh yeah.
He's getting his talking points. So
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah, bro. So what do you think like the end game is for like this group of like fucking autists and retards? Like do they just because I think like now that we like at this point a greater depression is inevitable, right? Like we're kind of headed in that direction. So at that point, right, like what do these fucking idiots do, right? When the money dries up and the subscriber base dries up? Like, do they just run off to like fucking I don't know. They run off to Japan and like engage in like the pornography over there or whatever the fuck, and they say ma based Japanese or whatever the fuck. Maybe they even live in Thailand.
I think that I I don't think that they're gonna outlive their usefulness as quickly as you think, actually. I think they're a
Gotcha, gotcha.
powerful propaganda weapon at this point.
Mm.
Um, what the end game of this weird Nazi revival, I suppose, they're trying to conjure up, I don't know exactly, because I don't wanna make, like, the basic old leftist thing of, like, they want the racial division to keep society easier to manage. I don't know if that's it. I really don't know if that's it, but
Yeah,
something going
I
on.
I I I understand what you mean. I think like the main difference between myself and yourself is that my overall assessment is that even the leadership don't know what the fuck it is that they're supposed to be doing, and they're gonna fall apart, right? Like I
Yeah,
think
to an
we
extent.
yeah, and I think you're more like okay, well they actually have agency and know what it is you're doing. My when I see this crap and
I
it's
see
like
somewhere in the middle between
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
said that I think and what you think. I think I'm somewhere in the middle, actually.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Yeah,
I
but
think there's
like
some incompetence, but I do think that they do
they
have
still know what
their
they're doing.
they
Yeah, yeah,
got
they still know
some
what they're.
hands on the levers. They know some of them they can pull and it will work, but some of them
Mhm.
they're pulling and it's not working the way they expected.
Oh, good sir, Nova Scotia 20 is here. Hello, good sir. How do you like it?
Ah, it's
Hello?
good. I'm on the bus, so you guys, I'll probably have some background noise here.
Okay, you might have to mute yourself in that case, because yeah, okay. Because the bus is what it is, right? Okay, and then, oh, Anthony makes an interesting point. What does he say? Culture as well. No, not, it's not that one. Okay, Jose says, if these people truly actually cared, they would do shit jobs and find a way to help theirs and those. Exactly, bro. Like, they talk about alliances. They can't even form a fucking alliance with their white neighbor 2 blocks down the road, right? So that tells you where these fucking ghetto farm animals are at. Okay. Anthony, the right devolved into degenerates, perverts, addicts, and low IQ, loud people that can't institute any new policy that's beneficial because they are illiterate. You're correct, Sir Anthony, but it's also deeper than that. It's also just that they're fucking like, they're fucking retarded, right? And I mean that not in the kind of like insult way. I mean it in the empirical way of like if you explain to them, for example, that okay, in countries like Sweden, Denmark, and whatever, right? The sewage system right now is falling apart. And you're correct. Yeah, they're low IQ, loud people. Like what they're immediately going to say is, oh, it's because the Somalis are here and they're dumping sewage. No, no. The sewage system is failing because roughly 50 years ago, it started deteriorating, right? And now it has gotten to this point, right? So, and nobody knows how to fix it, right? Because the way industrial society works is it's a pyramid scheme. At the bottom, you need young taxpayers working harder, longer hours for lesser pay, so that people at the top, the old people, the vampires, the gerontocrats, they can suck out the money from the young people, right? And that's kind of how we've decided to build society for the last 300, 400 years, right? And the right wing retards, they don't understand this. Neither do the left wing retards. The left wing retards are like, just tax the rich more, we'll solve the problem. And the right wing retards are like, just deport a few more migrants and we'll solve the problem. It's not going to be solved unless you deal with the old people, right? It's not going to be solved, right? So, Anthony, the purpose of the Nazi revival is to scare more Jews to Israel and to entrap. Uh I don't really see a purpose behind the revival thing. I think they're just latching on to whatever makes sense to them, right? As a mustache painter, I admit the revival of Third Reich was a Mossad operation to not only but the ideal model. There might be some of that going on. What's the
Th- th-
main theme of the
That's
discussion? Yeah,
I
go ahead.
think
Go ahead.
I want to address that because the Jewish eschatology is actually at play. It's something I don't always hold in my head because I'm not a
Yes,
religious
yes, yes,
person, but that is
yes.
definitely a factor, and they definitely want to get people to migrate back to Israel, and that could definitely be part of the logic here. I don't think it's the whole logic, but I think it's definitely a factor.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Okay. What's the main theme of the discussion? Just join. Thanks. I asked Sir Otter about the shit show that's happening in the United Kingdom, and we're basically talking about the new right, the dissident right, the online right, and how they're fucking irrelevant. Um, and we're making like larger sociological observations with regard to how their irrelevance kind of shows in general that large parts of society in the West, and to be fair, some parts of the non-West, are incapable of like doing basic maintenance for their society, right? Okay, I agree with Sir Otter's point about not outliving their useful idiots. They seem to be willing to prostrate. Yeah, bro, they're a bunch of farm animals. That's what they are. That's what they are, right? That's what they are. But like Sir Otter, right? You're saying it's gonna fizzle out in 2 weeks, and then what will John Carter of Mars and that whole crowd be doing then? What's gonna be their next angle?
They're gonna wait for the next event, and then they're gonna do their slot posts in the meantime, like, the Chinese fishing boats.
Chinese fishing boats, bro. That is so like he got his like America got its ass kicked in Iran, and now they're begging for the Ayatollah to have mercy on them. And they're gonna like America's gonna fight in the fucking Asia Pacific. Bitch, get the fuck out of here, man. Like
There's not gonna be a hot war with
there's
China.
not gonna be a hot war with China, man. You're losing to fucking Iran. Iran is choking and starving you. All right? Like,
And it's just the interconnection of economies, like, those countries are
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna wanna go to war with each other.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Pipe
exactly.
dream.
Fucking pipe dream, man. Holy shit. Uh, Battle of the Midway 2030 Lamau. Exactly, Sir Tony. Exactly. Um, I just like, I I just like, I laugh at this shit these days. I fucking laugh at this shit, right? So, you know, the Goyim aren't people, Sir Otter. The Goyim aren't people, right?
Yeah, sadly, I think, well, I was reflecting on this earlier, and, there was a time there was a time where the public was more educated and capable, but it's
Mhm.
been 100 years of the elites social engineering. I'm working on a massive article about this maybe by
Nice,
the
nice.
end of the month, 'cause it began in World War One, where they created a committee to, um I forget the exact wording, but they wanted to
Mm.
facilitate the development of American culture, and this only exacerbated with the Cold War. And then
Yeah.
you have the 1950s with the Eisenhower administration
Mm.
deciding that the best way to combat the perception of communism was to create a consumer market society where there's a
Yeah.
massive abundance of goods to make it
Yes.
look like the West is overflowing with riches.
Yes. Yes.
And that was the beginning of the end, but it goes back further. And it goes, excuse me, also to the Reagan
No worries.
administration with their educational reforms. The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America is a 750-page book that documents the paper trail of everything they did. It's kind of a weird book because it takes an anti-communist angle on it and accuses the Reagan administration of being like crypto Bolsheviks. But if you ignore the editorialism, it gives you actual documentation of what happened. And the author was in the upper echelons of the Ministry of Education, so had direct access to this information and whistleblew. So there's been an agenda for over 100 years now to make the public retarded, and we're dealing with the consequences of it now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think like my explanation is slightly different than yours. I think basically what happened was we started off the 20th century with 1.7 billion people. We ended with 6.1 billion people. It's less that the quote unquote elites in government decided that we're going to dumb down the population. It's more that, oh, lots of people are being born. How do we standardize this, right? And in order to standardize it, they had to dumb it down by necessity, right? And in doing so, they basically doomed themselves, right?
Yeah, but in
Uh,
America, that didn't need to happen because you already had a very robust,
mhm.
decentralized education system with high standards. And they use the excuse of, well, some states are falling behind, like the
Yeah,
South.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But and you had the whole medical system. You had all kinds of private medical schools.
Mhm,
Very few
mhm.
people know about this. Half of them were shut down when they standardized the medical system and standardized medical education.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
So, maybe that's true in Europe because you had the Prussian system that was already standardized since
Yeah.
maybe like 1850, but America was different, and they
Mm,
decided to import that stupidity,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
even though they had something great working for them.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, no, it's quite interesting, right? Because, like, America had lots of population anyhow. That being said, we have to understand, like, 350 million people are in America right now. I think, like, what? Let me just double check. USA
Uh,
population,
350 million, I
19
believe.
350 million. Yeah, okay, I'm just double checking something. United States population 1945, 139 million. So what is that? That's like 2.5x in, I'm going to say 50, 60, 70, almost 80 years. That's an enormous jump, bro. That's an enormous jump, right?
Yeah,
Um if you ever study mice populations, the thing with mice populations is that as population increases and the per capita rate of like resources available for each mice goes down, right? You get a lot of funky things happen, right? So we're gonna see a lot of funky things happen. I mean, a few hours ago, we were talking to Sir Cleveland. We didn't get to the topic of the mouse experiments, right? But like,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
in the 1970s, they did these mouse experiments, and they kind of experimented with like, okay, what if you give them ample room, and then ample food, unlimited water, and
Abundance,
like,
basically.
yeah, 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 yeah. Basically, negative feedback still kick in. The mice still get dumber. They still engage in like sodomy and cannibalism and all this other stuff. And eventually they all die. Right. So,
And then you had the mice withdrawing from the society as well. You had, like,
exactly.
little
Yeah, yeah.
groups forming
Yeah.
that were antisocial.
Yes, that's right. The beautiful ones. Yes. They were called the beautiful ones because they spent all of their time only grooming themselves and making sure that their fur looked impeccable, but they
But
were
not
not
mating.
mating with exactly. Who does that remind you of?
Looks
Who does
maxers.
that? There we go. Everyone is doomed, Sir Otter. There's gonna be less people on the planet by century's end. It is what it is.
That's not a bad thing. There's too many right now, I'd say.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like, the way I like to think about it is, if there's less people on the planet, there's more available resources per head. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're
Welcome to
we're at the
21st
point
century.
where we're extracting too many resources, and it's actually quite dire, and it's all
Yeah.
going to making junk.
Mhm. Yeah,
If
yeah,
if
yeah.
this resources were going into productive avenues, this wouldn't be
Yeah.
so alarming, but it's literally going to useless shit.
It's going to fucking old people, man. It's going to the fucking old people.
That
And the
too.
fucking old people can't use it. Bro, the fucking old people can't use it. Right? It's not like the old people are using the money, right?
Something like
It's going
70% of capital is locked up in the United States. It's not even liquid in the economy.
yeah, yeah.
The whole point of capitalism is to have liquid capital to create new
Yeah.
things with. It doesn't. It's not happening anymore
Mhm.
unless you know a VC who can, you know, juice your company a little.
Yeah.
There's no capital. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's
Exactly.
supposed to be capitalism.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Oh dear. Yeah. John Carter of Mars and the new right, dissident right, blah, blah, blah. What is their final form? Their final form is vote Republican, give all your money and your spare time to old people. Europa will rise any moment now because your Hyperborean blood memory will awaken. And what do you do after that? Dot, 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 dot. Give
It's like a
more
South
money
Park
and labor
meme.
to old people. Yeah. give more money and blood to old people, man. Holy shit. Oh, oh dear. What a fucking joke. Actually, you're in Europe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You okay. Like what has been the so obviously the Iran war and everything. Like are the Europeans still like pro-American or are they like slowly getting to the understanding that this is the evil empire and we got to like break free?
Definitely getting to the understanding that it's the evil empire. Definitely. But the problem is it doesn't matter what the European people think because the EU will do as it does, as it always does. And people don't show up for the EU elections. They show up for their local elections, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't show up
yeah,
for
yeah.
the EU elections. And it's a big problem.
Iran, if you're listening to this, the people of Europe yearn to be liberated by you. Oh, Iran, please starve them of like oil, gas, food, fertilizer, and everything else so that the government has no military equipment left to fight back and the people can defeat them. Iran, if you're listening, please do all of that. Thank you very much.
It would be pretty
Anyhow, good.
based.
Continue. Not the first time Iran has to save the world. So there we go. They did it like, I don't know, 3,000 years ago, something like that. People forget this, but like Persia's been around since post the Bronze Age collapse, one of the few parts of the world that bounced back from that. So, yeah. All right, let me just read the comments here. Dissident right being a new organization, most people are just grasping at whatever to signal who stands on what side. The UK is near a very heavy time. This will over time become even more warlike. Human territorial marking. I agree. I think like the future of the United Kingdom is like ghettos and gangs and like Colombia style like dirty wars, basically. Right. Um, and the thing is, right, like when people talk about the great replacement, they get very emotional about it, but it's actually not an emotional thing. What's happening is you have a larger population of young people showing up, and the young people for the whites don't exist. Most whites are like 40, 50, 60 years old, and the young people are on the black and the brown side. And if you're young, well, what do? You get into gangs, you get into fights, you mark your territory. That's basically what's happening. Right. If you're a grandpa, you're not going to be able to fight against a 20-year-old. You don't have that much testosterone. Just letting you know, that's biological fact, right? All right, let me just see what else. We are over carrying capacity. That's correct. There are religious. Okay, Anthony says there are religious implications of wasting surplus in ancient times. There was human sacrifice. Then it turned into grain wasting. Then it turned into wastage of money. And now it's the yes, bingo, yeah. Like young people are basically the suckers and the rubes because like they pay the taxes, they do the labor hours. But here's the thing, they're never going to get a pension. They're never going to get Social Security. They're never going to get any of those benefits.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so,
millennials been talking about this
yeah,
since I was in high school even. We're like, "We're not getting our Social Security."
exactly. Exactly. And the funny thing is they know that and they still work for the system. And I'm like, okay, bro, then, like, you say all the bad things about the terrorists and the criminals. Hey, maybe the terrorists and the criminals are the ones who have the correct view about life. Right? It's like, well, enough. We're not going to get the social security and the taxes. And okay, then why are you participating in the system? Well, because it's otherwise it'll be illegal and I'll get jailed and this. Okay, then you've answered your own question, man. Like
You know,
even though
some
yeah,
girl
yeah,
called for a tax protest in the United States, and that is
yeah,
actually something that could work, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
nobody
yeah, yeah, yeah.
nobody cared.
Nobody cares,
There
man.
was even
Nobody
an
fucking cares.
article about it
Yeah.
in a somewhat mainstream magazine, and
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
nobody latches on to it. And when I see things like that, I get excited. I'm like, "Let's go!" But people
Yeah,
are
let's
just
go. Yeah.
cowards.
You guys need more Hamas, Hezbollah, and terrorists. That's what you need. people who break the rules. That's what you need. You need like rule breakers and criminals everywhere, right? Like tax protests, everything, right? And like all this other shit of like, yeah, just vote Republican, be like John Carter of Mars, Hyperborean bloodline, this, that, and the other thing, and then 5 seconds later you vote Republican anyways, right? It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit.
And on the
Okay,
tax protest thing,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't get in trouble for not filing for a year or 2. You can get away with that. And if
yeah, exactly.
everyone didn't file for a year, that would fuck the US government, and you wouldn't go to jail for that. You go to jail for not paying your taxes for 3 years. So,
Yeah, there we go.
it's cowardice, man.
I mean, if you go to jail, you can go to jail. Like Yahya Sinwar was in jail. All the
And but
Palestinians who you
everyone
call inferior people. Yeah, 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 bro. You like, oh man, the Palestinians are inferior people. The Palestinians are inferior. We don't have to emulate them. We are the amazing Americans, or we are the fucking amazing British. Shut up, bitch. The Palestinians are a superior breed compared to you. The Palestinians fight for what they believe in. You're a little bitch. You're a little bitch cowering in the corner, right? So that's what that is. Third world is for life. Okay, what does Yana say? Not like elections matter much. They don't matter at all. I don't necessarily think this is the fault of the boomers. They just lucked out. They were born during the time of like surplus. Yes, system itself is fucking us due to inflation. Boomers are just and in a sense, you're correct. Like they got access to ample resources, so they decided to maximize their access. That being said, I don't think you can let them off easy because they fucked their kids and grandkids. Anthony says problem with terrorists and criminals is they don't restructure the broken system to realign an economic structure. You can't just replace it with something that was already in place, but you also can't just completely abolish the old structure. Yeah, you're correct. You're correct about that. You need a political and like a social plan of action. So that's why like in the 20th century, all of the successful decolonization movements, they had a terrorist wing or a quote unquote military wing, and they had a political wing. So it was carrot and stick. You have to use armed force and you have to use like politics and what have you, right? So if you don't have both, man, you're fucking worthless. Just letting you know, right? You can call yourself superior race, this, that, and the other thing all you want. You're still fucking useless.
And if you have no cultural imagination, you will realistically live in such a situation.
Yeah, can't hear you, good Sir Anthony, Tony. Yeah, your audio is kind of off, but we'll figure that out as we do all these lives more and more. I'm thinking about doing these lives whenever I feel like it because like this is such an easy system and it just goes directly to Substack, right? So it's very very fun. But yeah, no, and Anthony's correct, right? Like, and the empirical evidence shows that like the most successful movements are the ones that are both, right? They have military and they have political, right? So ah, well. That is the situation we're in. So you're in Hungary, good Sir Otter. How's Central Europe? Like, okay, so Orban is out, I guess, and this
Yep.
new guy is in. Um, I mean, in a way, Orban was kind of like the godfather of this like populist nationalist international, right? And
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
kind
he's
of
got some models,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. How's that thing going these days? Or is like people are like, oh, okay, this thing is fucking over.
It seems like it's over. I mean, Rod Dreher bailed out the minute the money dried up. Um, the institutions that have been established here, like the Danube Institute, they were getting funding from the Hungarian government, so their future is
Mhm,
in question. Will the Americans step in and keep funding their grift? I don't know. We need a little bit more time to see what happens, but there's
mhm,
definitely people
mhm.
bailing out of here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me
I
okay?
personally don't think that the populist, nationalist, blah blah blah. Because I think you and I both know, Sir Otter, that it's not just Israeli money, it's not just Hungarian money, it's not just American money, but it's always like okay, nationalist, populist, blah blah blah. We are organic patriots, and then you look under the hood, it's all fucking foreign money, man. It's all of it is foreign money, right? Like you might have one or two actual local candidates, but most of this shit is just fucking foreign money from everywhere, right?
Yeah, with smaller countries, that's always the problem.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Can you
Oh,
guys hear? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, yes, now you sound
yes,
good.
yes. Now you're much better. Now you're much better.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, I was just saying that, when it comes to terrorism and also, revolution and political parties, I've often thought that those revolutionaries, through their terrorism, kind of, or maybe through their revolutionary ideas, just kind of gave some life to the political side. And we're in such a dead cultural territory in the West that we have no imagination for anything new, and we're never gonna find it. I think we just have to die and go away, but that's just my own thoughts.
I mean, the thing though with that is that Earth is a living planet. So if something dies, it doesn't disappear. It decomposes, it becomes fertilizer, and then it like gives rise to another big tree. So I don't believe in the concept of like the West will completely disappear. I think like whether it's Eurabia, Eurafrica, or any of these other things, I think like they're gonna have Western elements in them. But in general, I agree with you that the West is dead because, like, like if you talked in the 1800s about the West, what were you talking about? You were talking about Christianity. You were talking about, you know, Greco-Roman philosophy and legal heritage, and you were talking about like the nation state Westphalian model that the Europeans were like doing, right? None of that is true. Like if you use the West today, if you use that word today, what are you actually fucking talking about? You're talking about Zionism, obviously, right? You're talking about Judeo-Christianity. Judeo-Christianity, folks, that's the West, right? And what else are you talking about? Well, you're talking about like, we are so amazing, bro. We are so amazing. The Palestinians, man, they're fucking Untermensch. And look at us. And then, here's a bunch of dark age edits on YouTube and TikTok, right? Like that's what you're talking about, man. So this is a fucking dead form. It's not gonna last. It's gonna decay into the ground and become something else. But yeah, I think Sir Tony, like what you were saying, yeah, the
I I'm seeing
I
it play I'm seeing
yeah,
it
go ahead.
play out here in Canada because it's like everything is just reducing to Zionism. I'm
Yeah.
surprised by it, but that is what is all coming down to here, and I'm seeing, like, very popular or well-known Jewish voices in this country are talking about how they have to flee, like Gad Saad has had to flee. He's a refugee to America right now because, "Oh, it's so uncomfortable for Jews here." Because they have to listen to what is being done in the name of Israel to the Palestinians. That's the only thing that's being talked about differently in the last few years in this country, and all of a sudden, it's like a second Holocaust. I'm not seeing any other, like, liberal morality because alongside this discussion, we're also having this internal discussion in Canada about residential schools
Mhm.
and, kids who were killed at those schools and possibly buried around those schools. And there are a few Jewish voices in this country who are leading, I wouldn't say a denialism, but a very like a pushback against this idea of
Mhm.
reconciliation. Well, if you were to mention that ground penetrating radar was used to find Jewish graves in Latvia, they would call
Mhm.
you an anti-Semite. But here
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
supposed to adhere to like a liberalism that says we don't just believe everything we hear, we query it. So I'm just seeing this real, particularly in Canada, it's like this it's such a mash of things that are not making sense, and then they're claiming victimhood, and I'm just left mind blown over all of it.
I think what this is that they don't have anything left to believe in, and so their instinct is like, okay, our master, our overlord is America. America, give us leadership. And what is America doing? America is a fourth world shithole that's fucking collapsing, and like the courtiers and the palace eunuchs are fighting. And then from the outside, what Canada and the Europeans see is like, oh my gosh, America is bowing to Zionism and Israel. Israel is their god. If we just bow to Israel and do all this other shit that they do to Israel, like a fucking cargo cult, it's also gonna like, nurture us and nourish us or whatever the fuck, right? And so that's what that is, right? I think this is all just superstition now. It's like, well, the global economy won't fall apart. Why? Because Israel is fighting. And well, what does that mean? Well, it means Israel will win because Israel always wins, guys. Isn't that the case?
And they're doing it for the rest of us. Like if it, they are doing it over there, so we don't see it over here.
Good Sir Otter, how does it feel to see Western civilization reduced to Zionism?
Oh, it's fucking insane. And the other insane part the other insane part is how
Yeah.
Jews are speed running becoming Nazis. They're speed running vindicating, Uncle Adolf's, Mein Kampf, you know? It's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly as in regards to Lebanon. I mean, if there was ever a concept of Lebensraum, it's what the Israelis are doing in southern Lebanon.
Absolutely.
They're not
Oh,
even
they're
trying to hide
trying
that.
to. Well, they're trying to, but they're getting their ass kicked by those drones, right? But they're gonna try, right? It is what it is. But like, let's just say I'm not very, confident in their ability to get through a bajillion Hezbollah drones, right? Because if they did, right, like Russia would have conquered Ukraine by now, right? So that's kind of what that is, right? Technology is a bitch, as the kids like to say. So, uh, so good Sir Tony, what do you think? Like, I asked Sir Otter this question, but like, what do you think about the United Kingdom thing, where like, oh, justice for Henry, and like they're pretending to care about this like Henry kid that got murdered by that Sikh guy, right? And like they're doing this like outrage theater and whatever. What do you think about all of that?
Yeah, I agree with Sir Otter that it's just kinda like their one-off event, and they'll go back to their slop posting until the next one comes around, because I seem to recall when that happened to George Floyd in America, there was a pushback at that point too, coming up with a white name who had been
Hmm.
unfairly killed by the cops somewhere as well, or whatever,
Hmm.
I don't know, unfairly or fairly, well, I just find, like, to your point and off, they're not able to pull up out of the details or the one-offs and see an organizing principle that they can all get behind and organize behind, and to your guys' earlier point, organization is not easy to do. Being part of a political party or trying to organize for a political party, it's a lot of door knocking, it's a lot of dry conversations, it's a lot of failed ideas, um, but it's not just getting angry and screaming some guy's name while you hold a candle or get angry at blacks or browns or Sikhs or whoever.
Exactly. Okay. Anthony says they're pushing Palestinians out to build greater Israel. Go, greater Israel. I don't buy that for the simple reason that we have empirical evidence for this, right? Like, if Israel was building greater Israel, then they wouldn't just get defeated all the time. Like, in 1973, they had to give up the Sinai back to Egypt, right? So, tactical victory, strategic loss, right? Then in 1982, they invaded Lebanon. And for 18 years, they tried to slog through Lebanon. They lost that war, they withdrew, right? And then you have all of these multiple wars, right? Like in the early 2000s, I think like Hamas won the elections and then the Israelis invaded. Eventually they withdrew. They called it a victory, but like the settlers left Gaza, right? So yeah, I mean, they kill a lot of people, no doubt. But like you got to understand, there's like 14 million something Palestinians worldwide, of which like 11 or 12 million live in the region nearby. Um, yeah. It the way I like to explain it is as follows. To do the hard things, you need to be able to do the simple things. The fact that the Israelis can't even defeat fucking Hezbollah, can't defeat Hamas, can't annex Lebanon, can't do basic military maneuvers, that already tells you. Like it's not an invincible fighting force. Like that is a like Sir Malcolm had a term for it. He called it Nuremberg Christianity. This is like the post World War II civic religion of like worshiping Judea and Jews and like Israel or whatever the fuck. Like none of the greater Israel shit is happening. What's gonna happen is America's gonna get kicked out of the region. Israel's gonna fucking collapse, right? Iran will win, but it's going to be a Pyrrhic victory in the sense that Iran's going to be king of the ashes, right? Like, okay, well, the global energy system has been destroyed. Global energy markets are fucked, and they're going to be fucked for the next several decades. What does that mean? Global depopulation. People in Japan, China, America, Europe, everyone will be affected. And yeah, global depopulation over the next several decades, right? I don't think there's a fucking plan for Greater Israel. I think like that stuff, if that stuff were true, we would see like, oh my gosh, Israel is conquering Lebanon. Now it's conquering Syria. Now it's doing this, that, and the other thing. Like, even in Syria, where like Jolani, that fucking nigger, like Jolani is like, yeah, man, just like take Mount Hernon. We're not going to do anything. Like, even in that scenario, like every now and then, random tribes of like Bedouins in Syria take shots at the Israelis, right? Like, you're not going to be able to pacify that place, right? At the end of the day, Israel is a very tiny country, and its army is like all conscript based, right? They have a regular force, they have a conscript army, and they're taking a shit ton of casualties, whether it's the drones, the RPGs, all the guerrilla fighting, etc., etc. Yeah, basically, if you cannot even defeat Gaza and the West Bank, you're not going to be defeating Lebanon. Therefore, there's no such thing as Greater Israel, right? It's more likely that within the next several months and years, you will disappear as opposed to the Palestinians disappearing, right? That's just the math, folks. Like, military realities are about math, right? It's not about, how impressive, quote unquote, your casualty numbers are by like killing women and kids. If that were the case, France should have defeated Algeria handily, which it did not. So there you go. That is my long rant. But yeah, Sir Otter, it is now Iran's world. How do you feel?
I mean, I don't know if I 100% see that prediction coming to pass, but I could see it. Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
What do you
I
think
don't.
the rabbit out of the hat is? What do you think the American rabbit out of the hat is in this scenario?
Well, today the big news was that Trump is allowing something like 165,000 acres of Alaskan protected wildlife reserve to be drilled for oil, auctioning it off today. So it seems
Bro.
like they're trying to ramp up some domestic production, but I mean,
Yeah.
Canada has
He's been
massive
saying that,
reserves
bro.
too in the Yukon.
Bro, he's been saying that for 10 years, man.
Yeah,
The
the
thing is,
Keystone XL.
if you wave the magic, causing an economic leads to global is a form of fulfilling, is it not? The problem, Anthony, is that you assume that depopulation won't affect the elite. What I'm saying is, in that situation, the elites living on their compounds will be murdered by their security guards, and then they will be feasted upon by cannibals and warlords, right? So this actually doesn't work out, right? But anyhow, as to answer Sir Otter, um, if you look at the Gulf of Mexico right now, every day the outflow is like between 4 million barrels. Before the war, the outflow from the Straits of Hormuz was like 21 million barrels. And like the oil, so it's not just that it's only one fifth. It's also just that America exports the quote unquote wrong type of oil. What it exports is like LPGs, natural gas liquids, all the light stuff, right? Canada and Venezuela, they export heavy stuff. Um, the Middle East is the only part of the world where you get like Goldilocks zone. So not too heavy, not too light, just right. And you can use it for like trains, ships, fucking jets, cars, etc., etc. Right? So even if you like, if I gave you a magic wand and you waved it, and Alaska became fully functional tomorrow, which it's not, right? It's going to take several years. The volume just isn't there, man. I mean, America is like a big consumer of oil. It doesn't like this energy efficiency, energy independence shop. That's all myth, right?
Yeah, well,
And
I mean, to
yeah,
extent you're right, but they could also go
yeah,
back to fracking, because
they
fracking
already did, bro.
collapsed.
It's called shale, man. They already did. It's called shale, and like
But the fracking
X.
industry collapsed because it just wasn't profitable compared to what's happening in the Middle East, but, the
It's
equation
not just that.
changes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're correct, but it's not just that. It's basically just that. Like if you talk to Chevron, Exxon, Rystad, and like 12 other companies, all the big companies, and you ask them why can't we do fracking, they'll all give you the same answer, which is that shale only has like maximum 10, 12 years left, maximum. Right? This was before this war. Now, because of this fucking war, America is selling its emergency reserves to keep the vassals afloat. So it's probably going to be less than 12 years. Right? You discount those massive underground bunkers in that statement. Elites are not. It doesn't matter, man. Like you can have a massive underground bunker and your security guard's gonna kill you. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. Like in the early 2010s, they actually had these conferences where like they hired military personnel and they asked them that, okay, well, I want to put in like nano chips and shock collars in my security guards. And how do I do it? Because when the world ends, I want to have like a bunker or whatever fuck. And the security personnel all said the same thing every single time. They basically just said, it's not possible because eventually the 50 or 60 security guards that you have on your compound, they'll collaborate and figure out a way to kill you, and they'll figure out a way to get rid of their shock collars. After they kill you and they eat you, like because they've become fucking cannibals in the nuclear wastes, right? They'll grab all your stuff, they'll loot all your stuff, and they'll run away, right? So you actually don't survive in that scenario.
There's
So
also the problem of ventilation if you're in an underground
yeah,
bunker.
exactly.
All you gotta do is drop
Exactly.
a smoke bomb down there.
Yeah. So actually, there's no escape for like the quote unquote rich people, right? So they're also as fucked as us. So there
Those
you go.
security guards just need to all time one giant fart that would fucking drown those guys out of their bunker.
Yeah. No one's in control, bro. Everyone's gonna die. Game over. The end. Thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for playing. That's how it is.
Sir Ahnaf,
But
can I ask you a question I've been wondering about?
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So we were talking a few months ago when all this war stuff started up with Iran about like the ceiling for American involvement in a war. Like, what is their actual? How far can they go in like a kinetic war, especially given the
Yeah,
so-called ceasefire we're in right now? Like, I know
I
you had
think.
kind of an up.
Yeah. I think at most they can do another 6 week bombing campaign. And this one is, and if they do that 6 week bombing campaign, intensity wise, it's going to be roughly the same or less than the one they just finished, right? And at that point, they're just out, man. Like they're out of Tomahawks, they're out of Patriot interceptors, they're out of these SAMs. They're just like disarmed at that point, right?
And
Um,
they're back to hitting like useless targets for metrics purposes only.
No. It's worse than that. It's worse than that. Basically, what happens is they're out, and then it's like, okay, well, you are firing your thing from 500 miles away, and his air defense system only has a range of 200 miles. Hey, man, I'm just gonna give you a bunch of JDAMs. Please get within 30 miles of like the target and try to bomb the place, right? And so the attrition rate for like the jets would go up even higher, right? So
I
that's what
see.
that
I
is.
see.
Yeah. So it's fucked. Basically, it's fucked. Um, at this point, it's just like how big is the defeat going to be for America, right? Like that's what we're waiting to see, right? Um, let me just see something here. Who else
I've
is
got
speaking
a,
here?
rabbit out of the hat theory.
Go for it,
This
bro.
actually comes from one of the early OPEC meetings
Oh, okay.
where yeah, so Iran and Saudi Arabia were in disagreement in the '70s
Yes.
about, how much oil to withhold from the economy, the global economy, because Iran wanted to sell it more expensive because they wanted to shift out of oil, they wanted to build nuclear reactors,
Yeah,
etcetera.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
They
That's
wanna diversify their economy.
right.
Well, Saudi Arabia can't diversify their economy. All
It's
they
not
have
capable.
is
It's yeah,
oil.
exactly. Yeah.
So, they wanted to lower the price of oil and sell more
Yeah,
oil.
that's right. Mhm.
So, in this meeting, uh, the Saudis threatened to dump millions of barrels to
Mhm.
thwart Iran's efforts because their logic was
Yeah, yeah,
this:
yeah, yeah.
there was the rubber industry.
Yeah,
The
that's right.
rubber industry was a monopoly by the British. They
Hmm.
stole seeds from the Brazilians, they planted them
Yes,
in
that's right.
Malaysia.
Hmm.
The trees grew better in Malaysia, higher quality rubber than in Brazil. The
Hmm.
Brazilian market was screwed, and
Yeah.
the British held everyone hostage, and they raised the price over and over till people said, "Fuck this," and they started to research how to make synthetic rubber,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
that destroyed the monopoly overnight. So, this kind
Sure.
of pressure on the oil market could lead to some kind of an innovation that
Here's the
solves the problem.
problem. Here's the problem, right? Shale was that innovation, right? And like ethanol and all these things, all of these things have already been done, right? You could argue that they'll figure it out tomorrow, but at that point, it's like implementation. So, for example, I'll give you an example. Hydrogen. Hydrogen, if you run a car on hydrogen, it does work. It does everything, right? It doesn't have the problem of electric cars. It doesn't have the limited range. Hydrogen runs very well like a gas driven car, right? It doesn't matter because you can never implement hydrogen to the point where like, oh, Toyota makes several million vehicles a year and all these other companies, like imagine a giant tree that has grown there for hundreds of years and the roots are stuck deeply into the soil. And then you figure out, hey man, here's an innovative way to like spread your roots out and be more efficient. Yeah, everything you said is correct, but the tree is already growing there. So it's not going to work out, right? So the world economy is like that. The
And
world
I
economy
have
is like that.
one more rabbit out of the hat
No worries,
theory.
bro. No worries, bro.
One more rabbit out of hat theory is that
Don't worry, bro.
I made a prediction last year that green technology development and research is gonna drop significantly,
Yeah, you're correct.
but I was not correct, actually. It's
Mhm.
actually there's been
Yeah,
some
China is
tremendous
increasing it.
breakthroughs. There's
Yeah, yeah,
been actually
China's
tremendous breakthroughs, so
exactly, exactly,
there's
exactly.
definitely some black swan possibilities here,
Yeah,
so
China is increasing it, bro. Yeah, like what you're saying. No, you're correct. It did drop, but it increased in China. Like the reason it's increasing in China is because the Chinese still have an industrial society. Europe and America don't, right? Um, like the thing with green energy and this kind of shit. Uh, it's not about the type of energy, it's the method of extracting the surplus, right? Like, for example, if I give you a shovel and you dig the ground and you find diesel in the ground, hey man, that's wonderful. You just got a bunch of diesel, quote unquote, for free because that diesel took tens of millions of years um, to develop over there, right? If I told you make a bunch of biodiesel, okay, chemically identical, you are gonna be spending a shit ton of resources. And so you get the chemically exact same thing, but it doesn't matter because it's way too expensive, right? It's the same thing with green energy, right? Hey, enough, solar and wind and what all of that's abundant. Yes, that's correct. It is abundant all around us. But what matters is what is the cost of trapping that shit, right? And using it, right? And turns out because these things are intermittent, right? It's quite high, right? Now, the thing with the Chinese is that right now, because they have this amazing surplus of oil, not oil rather, but coal and all these other things, and Iran's giving them the oil, and so is Russia and whatever, they're gonna make these things for a while, man. They'll make solar panels, wind, this, that, and the other thing, and then 30, 40 years later, they'll be at the same place where America's at right now with regard to deindustrialization, right? But like, Japan is the future. Like Japan is the future of industrial society, where like population is declining, the society has kind of already collapsed economically, things kind of sort of work. Like there's different kinds of energy sources here and there, but like overall, it's like a declining population place and whatnot, right? And innovation wise, yeah, I mean, Japan used to be a very innovative society. Like in the 1970s and 80s, some would argue that Japan was the nation of the future. And it is the nation of the future.
oh,
All you got to do.
they were gonna overtake the USA. They deliberately screwed the Japanese
Oh,
economy
yeah,
by
yeah.
forcing their central bank to implement policy that was favorable to the US economy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All that shit happened, all
They
that stuff.
neutered
But,
themselves because they have US military bases right down their throats,
oh, yeah.
so they had no other
Oh,
option.
there's that aspect as well. There's that all of that's true. But at the same time, like Japan was never really gonna make it. Even if the Americans had fumbled the ball, they didn't. America was very aggressive in like throttling Japan. But even if America hadn't fumbled the ball, it would have taken an additional 10, 20 years because you know, Japan has the demographic crisis, people aren't having babies, and so this was eventually gonna happen anyways, right? So
Yeah, yeah, it's just the logic of industrial society. I
yeah,
definitely
yeah, yeah.
agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like no one has kids, and so if you don't have kids, well, the old people don't get their pensions and shit. And if the old people don't get their pensions and shit, the big lobbying groups that make up the country, they are no longer able to keep the grift going. And because they can no longer keep the grift going, the society writ large, because it doesn't believe in anything metaphysical, it doesn't want to do anything anymore. And then you just get apathy. And when you just get apathy, the thing falls apart, and then you get suicides and other negative feedbacks, and oh look, mouse experiments, right? And so on and so forth. So there you go. Doom loop is complete, my friend.
Oh, I wanted to also add, there's another experiment that would interest you guys where they took jars of flies. They had one jar of flies that was moderately populated with little food, and then another jar that was moderately populated with lots of food, and the latter jar overpopulated. And in the end, the experiment, those flies died, where the less fed medium population jar actually survived better because they rationed their supplies better. And when we were talking about the eco stuff, I was thinking, oh, this is perfect for Sir Arnav, and then he popped into the group chat there. So yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Anyhow, with that being said, gents, 1 hour, 9 minutes. I gotta be somewhere else. I think Sir Otter, you also gotta be somewhere else. You
Yeah,
said you
dude.
only had a short thing to do. But let's do this more frequently because I just realized this is a very, very nice way. You can just like pop it in and it just opens up and we can chat. This is very, very nice. We can just directly do this on Substack. So let's do this from now on onwards on a regular basis. And thank you, Sir Otter, for showing up.
Yeah, no problem. I would love to do more of these. They're fun.
All right.
I
Awesome.
always love listening. Always love listening to Mr. Otter.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Catch you later. And yeah, Sir Otter, like I said, we will keep in touch and we will definitely do this again. And so will we with Sir Tony. All right. See ya.
Yeah, Sir Tony, it's great to have you too.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Thanks, guys.
And yeah.
Later.
All right. Cheers, guys. And yeah, remember, as always, the doom cometh. See ya.